In World War I, according to John Simkin at SpartacusEducation.com, there were over 1 million U.S. soldiers in France. For as many soldiers as there were, one sticks out in particular, and his name is Alvin York. York has been said to be the greatest soldier of World War I. Although he is said to be the greatest soldier, nobody hears about him because time has passed and everybody does not remember his legacy. So over the next few minutes, you'll be informed with Alvin York's legacy and why he is the greatest soldier of World War I. A little bit of a background on Alvin is when he grew up in Tennessee, born and raised in Tennessee, in rural Tennessee, and he didn't have much of schooling. So according to Dr. Birdwell, York had a grand total of 9 months of schooling at a subscription school he attended in his youth. So when Alvin decided that school was not important anymore, and being from a rural area, he was a big-time hunter. And the more he hunted, the better he got. So the more accurate he was getting, and he could realize what he could do with a weapon. So then York would then take this talent and skill with him from when he get drafted in 1917. When York got drafted and sent overseas to protect us, he became the greatest soldier of World War I. There was a mission they were sent out for on the morning of October 8th, 1918, which according to Dr. Birdwell, due to a misreading of their map, which was in French and not English, so that's why there was confusion, mistakenly wound up behind enemy lines. Well, there were 16 men in his squad, and when the Germans realized that they had the Americans outnumbered, the Germans then turned a machine gun they had up on the front, waiting for other Americans to turn around and start opening fire on the squad of 16 men. York would then have to take into action. As the machine gun started firing, it took out 9 out of the 16 men in his squad. So it took out his leader, and after taking out the leader assigned 2 others to lead the rest of the remaining troops. And by this time, the 2 that were in charge now then told York to silence the machine gun and to stop them from firing. After being told to do so, he then was successful in silencing the machine gun. After this, him and those last 7 men would then carry out the mission and end up killing 25 German soldiers, and then York would end up killing 9 himself. But not only killing 9 himself, he would then capture 132 prisoners just by himself. That is a lot. And from that moment on, York would then receive the Medal of Honor and return home in 1919. After that day, on October 8th, 1918, York would then be greeted home as being famously recognized and honored for what he has done overseas and for his service. The greatest soldier of World War I cannot be lost, and his story must remain and be remembered for as long as time. Such an amazing act to capture 132 prisoners by himself behind enemy lines, which ended up being a mistake, cannot be overlooked and forgotten. What looked to be like a mistake in the beginning turned out to be the moment of York's life and would then rewrite history.